Let's take a quick call, and then let's go listen to Alan Seaball with Aaron McCarty and Robert Wright, Kill Radio, which is really good. I want y'all to listen to what he had to say. Mark and Elliot, go ahead, Mark.
Yes, sir. I was calling about. I've been listening to you for a couple of years, and I really like your program. And I listened to another program right before yours, the Talking Head, and they was talking about the gas prices going up and the oil going up.
Mm-hmm.
And one guy called in and was saying that, well, the Moon, he likes the oil prices going up and the gas prices going up, and I didn't understand what he meant by that. And I just wanted to hear your opinion about it.
I think they're artificially low. Water is costs more. Everything costs more. We've been riding with cheap gas for a long, long time. Number two is when we have prices in that $70, $80, $90 barrel, yes, we pay more at the pump, but we got a lot more people working in the state of Louisiana, a lot more people making better money. If you go talk to vehicle manufacturers, and I spend a lot of time with Dallas Hicks and the Hicks and Autoplex, as you know, but I know other car dealers, and I visit with them as well, and they have problems producing vehicles based on a price of $2 a gallon. They have problems dealing with $4 a gallon, too. But they think it needs to be somewhere in between as well so they can get a grip on that as well. So I don't mind paying $50, $80 more a month for gas, and I know people are working. You know, I'm in a heart and soul oil and gas industry, but a lot of people in the state that was working are out of work now. So if you told me that I had to pay $50, $80 more a month, $100, whatever it is, $50 to $100 more a month, and I knew my friends were working and making good money and making a great living and wouldn't moving out this state, I would be willing to pay a little bit more for it. That was it. You know, I mean, I don't want it to be $150 a barrel, but the 60, 70, 80, 85, that puts people back to work, and it helps our state and it helps our economy. And that's where I stand, and I still stand by that. I think we need to, I hope and pray that it does go up a little more, because I'd like to see people back at work. That's simple. I know you got friends in the business too, and you want to see them working. You want to see them with the jobs and the things they love to do. And when the big collapse came, yeah, it's great at the pump now. It's great at the pump to pay $1.80 and $2 a gallon. But when I look at friends of mine that don't work anymore or had to go get jobs that pay a lot less, you know, I just think there's a happy medium somewhere in there. But Obama was trying to shut the whole industry down. Coal, oil and gas on his fake global warming crap. So anyway, that's where I stand. I don't mind paying more. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you. I just didn't understand what he was saying. Now I understand. I appreciate you explaining it.
Yeah, that's it. It's you gotta put it. You see somebody on the air, and I don't care who said that. Well, Moon was higher prices. That sounds great. But how about the other 90% of the story? Why do I want higher prices?
Yeah.
I want people working again. Yeah. You know, and I mean, and you would agree with me. If you would pay, let's just say you paid $100 more a month. You with me? But
yes, sir.
Because of your job and your business, you started making $400 and $500 and $1,000 more a month. Would you trade $100 more in a gas bill to make $500 more a month? You would trade that every day, wouldn't you?
Yes, sir. Sure would.
You know, I tell you what, the guy that said that, I'll make a deal with them.
Playoff.
If they give me $10 every day, whoever said that, I'll give them $5 every day. And if they want to do that, I'll trade with them every day. That's all. It's really simple. Some people can throw that out there, but I had a reason, rhyme and reason. Anyway, appreciate the call. All right, Brandon, can we do it? I know we'll be a little late on the deal. This is Alan Seaball. Listen closely. Visiting with Aaron McCarty and Robert Wright at Kill Radio. I think this is very, very good interview right here.
Once again, the governor says, your boy John Bell, says we are headed to another fiscal cliff. This is a term that he has previously used, and one that you don't necessarily buy into. How about this time?
Well, if there is any kind of fiscal cliff or fiscal crisis, it's completely self-created. The one thing that you can't get past, and if you just go back to Bobby Jindal's last budget, and I'm no fan of Bobby Jindal's budgets. I voted against Jindal's budgets more often than John Bell did. But universities didn't close. We fully funded TOPS. Hospitals didn't close. There was no crisis. And if we pass this year, Jindal's last budget, if we just duplicate that, we would have a $3 to $4 billion surplus. So that's how much spending has gone up. since John Bell became governor, $3 to $4 billion per year. So if there's not enough money, it's not because of a lack of money.
But isn't it the Medicaid expansion? Wasn't that the big bulk of it?
It's partly, but he keeps saying Medicaid expansion saves us $300 million a year. It absolutely doesn't. It costs us about $3 billion a year, and that's something that he did by executive order, not by vote of the legislature. So if there is a fiscal crisis, it's one that he created himself.
So walk us through sort of the line in the sand, if you will, that the governor has drawn. What is it that he is, in my mind at least, and maybe yours, daring the legislature to do or not do?
He's ignoring half of the problem. When you have a budget, it's a two-pronged problem. You have one is you have revenue. The other side, you have spending. His plan has absolutely no spending cut component to it. He wants to raise taxes to meet the number without any corresponding reductions in spending. And that's just wrongheaded. My position from the beginning has been, since Jindal was governor, we need a serious discussion about budget reform. And we're not going to have one if the legislature keeps raising taxes every time that this fiscal crisis comes up. The governor wants to spend more money, so we just give it to him.
He says it's going to be revenue neutral, Alan. Are you crazy?
No, that's not what he said. And
okay.
It's not revenue neutral. What he's saying, if we do nothing, that extra 1 penny sales tax goes away. What he's wanting us to do is raise taxes to meet that. So it's not revenue neutral. Revenue neutral is swapping something for nothing. Swapping something for something else. If we do nothing, taxes go down by $880 million a year. He wants us to replace that with something permanent. And that's an increase no matter how you slice or dice it. He's asking us to permanently raise taxes on the people of the state of Louisiana because he won't look at his own administration and try to cut anything. And I got this email that he sent out with his priorities. He actually had the gall to put in there that he has cut millions of dollars of spending. That's an absolute bald-faced lie.
Will you send that email on to me when you get a minute?
Yeah.
We would love to share that.
It's his little plan of what he – but the problem with his quote-unquote plan is there's absolutely no specifics in it at all. He says add income – broaden the base by adding income, a sales tax to services. But he doesn't specify which services.
I saw one where it was cable TV. He would tax me on my cable TV.
That's on the list, cable and satellite services. But he has stuff on there like insurance services. Not exactly sure what that is. Debt collection services, data processing services, repairs to real estate. I mean, it's very non-specific list. And it's not something that we can work with. What he's essentially said is, he wants the Republicans to come to him by January 19 and say, these are the taxes that we will raise, and then we work out some sort of deal. And the problem, we have approached it from the beginning. We want to talk about spending cuts and spending and budget reform before we talk about tax increases. And he's essentially saying, no, let's have the tax increase discussion first.
Alan, we had Billy Nungesser on a couple of days ago as far as the penny tax rollover or it going away is concerned, and Mr. Billy said that he thought it was a good idea that it would go away, but he said given the cuts to various departments, and he said his lieutenant governor's office has been cut by 10% just in the last year, and he said, I wish it would go away. He said, but I don't see a way around keeping it. I would assume you disagree?
I mean, I'd like it to go away, too. I will say it's the one tax that has some Republican support. But the problem is it doesn't have the governor's support or any Democrat support. If there is any support for keeping the fifth penny, it's on the Republican side. I voted against it the first time. I voted against it. I voted against renewing it or putting it back. But especially because what they're asking us to do now is make it permanent. When it was passed a couple of years ago, it was a temporary tax. What they're asking us now to do is make it permanent. We have the highest sales tax in the nation, and they're asking us to make that permanent. I strongly disagree with that, and the governor disagrees, and most of the Democrats disagree. That is the one tax that has some Republican support. which makes it interesting. The question is, at the end of the day, will the Democrats take it if it's all they can get? And it'll take 2/3 vote to get there, and I just don't think there's votes to get to 2/3 on any tax increases. Some of the credits and the exemptions only requires a majority vote because of how they're structured. They can probably get to a majority vote, but barely.
Alan, let me ask you this. We got our last minute here. If the governor and you guys don't come to an agreement by January 19th, he's not going to even call a special session. So he's going to take his ball and go home, and you guys take your ball and go home. Where does that leave us?
Well, it leaves us with what we've been wanting to do for a long time, which is solve the problem through budget cuts. We've got to pass a budget. The governor has to present us with a budget, but we don't have to pass his budget. What he's going to do is what Obama did during the sequester. He's going to try to cut things that are visible that everybody sees, like tops, and that's not necessary. We believe that we can solve the problem through budget cuts that, frankly, I don't think too many people will notice. And we'll see. The problem is going to be getting it through the Senate. He completely controls the Senate, and he has a veto pen.
Yeah.
He can line things out of it, but he can't add money. He can only take out spending in certain areas. So we think we can solve it through budget cuts.
All right, folks. You can pick that up on Keel Radio.
710keel.com.
Yep. If you do that, you can listen to the whole thing. I'll be back to comment on that. Your calls, all that welcome. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Griffon Show, great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. Your opportunity to be a voice. It is open forum Friday. You can talk about anything you want to talk about. It's your time of the day to do it, folks. Your time of the week. All righty. Will the governor give tax breaks to people as he's asking utility companies to give breaks to customers? Will he give his customers money back? It's a great question. Somebody in the legislature needs to ask him. Let's go to, and I'll get to Alan Seabaugh in just a second. David in North Louisiana. How you doing, David?
Happy New Year to you, Moon.
Yes, sir. You too.
Let's talk some about the oil industry and Louisiana taxes. I'm a geologist, and 30 years ago I actually taught petroleum geology in Virginia, so I've been thinking about this for a long time. Do you think that part of our problem with this highest tax rate in the nation is the tie-in between state government and oil exploration, oil production?
No, I think the reason we got the highest tax rate, sales tax, and things like that is because we have a major spending problem in Baton Rouge, and they don't want to. They want as much money as they can. They don't want to change anything. We've given them mega money for roads. The roads are not fixed. They want more. They have our retirement system's broke. Our unaccrued liability is like $21 billion now, and everything they touch financially, they've screwed up. Now look, I'm just being blunt with you. It's not a lack of money. Bill Edwards has $5.1 billion more to spend in the budget now than he had when he took office. Not enough. Nothing's enough for these people. And they don't want to change anything at the spending level and how they handle their business in Baton Rouge. So they just come to us and they keep trying to take from us. So I don't, oil and gas has been a big part of the budget for years. It's not as big as it used to be, but it's still a decent part.
Yeah. I just wonder if during the boom times of the 70s and 80s, wasn't always a boom time, but seems like the petroleum industry fed an awful lot of money into Louisiana state government during the boom time. Where did all that go?
Well, that's what I keep saying. It didn't matter if we have boom time or not. We had a boom time in the oil and gas industry, 4 or 5 years ago. It's not so much now. We had a boom time back in the 80s, everything went south. They had plenty of money. They've always had plenty of money. And they just want to keep spending. So they never have enough money. You could give them $2 billion more this year. $2 billion. I just told you we gave them 5. We gave the state of Louisiana $2.8 billion in new taxes since Bel Edwards been in. I think it was in 2015 or 2016. The whole 50 states only raised state taxes $2.4 billion. Out of that $2.4 billion, Louisiana raised $1.8 billion of the $2.4 billion. How much more money do we need to give them?
You know, one of the things that you talk a lot about is about Louisiana roads, and I started driving 165 and 167, those two roads you know well from your days in North Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
And in the last 30 years, they really have 4-lane those roads. So
yeah, but that was a
positive thing.
Yes, sir. But remember, you're talking about roads that are maintained by the federal government. Those are roads that the federal government, that's their highways.
Well, that's a good point.
The state highways, but if you go look at local and state roads that we have to maintain, you can go find some areas that they're pretty good. But I tell you what you do, drive down here, and let me take you on 343, Louisiana 343, and let me take you to New Iberia, and some people will tell you there's a lot more than just those, and you'll want to throw up. The roads are horrible. And I think now they're allowing them to get even worse.
You're talking about roads near Lafayette and Lake Charles?
Yeah, the 343 and the New Iberia I'm talking about mostly down in the area I'm in now.
US 90?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I see.
Yeah, new US 90s and another one that's probably, Brandon, is a lot better than most.
Yeah, and they're working on it. I mean, they're working on US 90 a ton, doing some improvements and some widenings and all that there. But yeah, it's long been known for just being real bumpy.
Yeah, and you can ask anybody coming in and out of our state.
Yeah, you know, your point about 165 and 167 being federal routes, U.S. routes, you know, that's a good point. If you go down to parish level roads, they're potholes the size of craters on the moon.
No, the local and state, listen, be real blunt. We've had plenty of money to fix roads. Plenty of money. We've chose not to do that. Let me tell you what we chose. We chose to build golf courses for John Alario. We've chosen to build lakes and reservoirs and golf courses for Francis Thompson. And hundreds and hundreds of other projects like that have cost this state billions and billions of dollars. We've chose to fund local projects with state money because these representatives and senators go there and they want to bring something back for their area. It's not the job of state government. State government should not build sidewalk and bike paths for local communities. You want a bike path, vote for a tax. If you can't get the tax passed, then don't have the bike path. So, and I'm not focusing just on that. There's a bunch of other stuff.
Let's change the topic. Can Georgia beat Alabama, you think?
Absolutely. I think that's going to be a heck of a ball game. I'm a big college football guy. Can Georgia beat Alabama? Yes. I think they can beat them, and they may beat them. I mean, we'll have to wait and see how the game plays out.
Walker says no.
I never have liked the way Saban has treated Louisiana, LSU, and so forth. So I'm anxious to see him lose.
Yeah, if most people that are LSU fans hate Nick Saban in Alabama. I on the other hand, I like
Alabama.
I like LSU, but I like to watch people that are great at their craft. And Saban's great at his craft. And I like to watch and see what happens.
But I don't like him, but he sure is competent.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, he's very competent, and that's why he's there. He does stuff different than everybody else. And there's a reason people go to the top. Tiger Woods at one time. They all fall one day. Tiger Woods at one time was just like fun to watch, but he was better than everybody. And there was a reason he was better than everybody. He outworked them, he outthought, whatever. And Saban's done that to this point. Now, Saban can get beat. If he wins, though, the last 10 years of college football, nobody ever in the history of college football had a run like he had. Nobody. You can like him or not. Nobody even came close on a 10-year run. Anyway, I got to go. Thanks. God bless. Open Forum Friday. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. If you'd like to be part of the Moon Griffon Show, it's your opportunity to be a voice. Also, Open Forum Friday. a day you can talk about whatever you want to talk about as we rock and roll. All right, I'm going to jump gears. I got a gentleman in here with me. He's not only a talk show host in North Carolina. I'm going to let him give us the details before we move on. He also is the play-by-play. You play-by-play, by the way?
Play-by-play.
Play-by-play for Coastal Carolina. Y'all know they won the – I'm going to get to the national championship anyway, because that was big for a mid-major, okay? But he does play-by-play basketball for Coastal Carolina. He does baseball. He's a sideline reporter for him. He happens to be in the state of Louisiana because last night he watched his Coastal Carolina get their ass whipped by ULM, which you can't say much, by the way. And tonight he is in Lafayette. He's in studio, and he's going to go watch him get his butt whipped again against a good UL squad, the Raging Cajuns. By the way, they're going to be better than my Warhawks. I promise you, they're really good. Anyway, his name is Joe, and I'm going to try to get this right. Catenacci?
That's right. You got it, man.
One time. By the way, for the rest of the program, his name is Joe. I might not mess that up. I might, though.
Because before now, Moon just kept calling him Joe, whatever your last name is.
Yeah, but now that I kind of got it written down, I can kind of aim at it a little bit. Anyway, Joe, great to have you in the state, brother.
Absolutely, man. Moon, thank you for the invite. And they call me Joe Cats around our parts to shorten that up.
Well,
so you don't.
I might mess that up.
Yeah, they don't mess it up. But yeah, 23 turnovers last night against that Monroe team. There's about 6 people in the arena.
They struggling.
And it was glad to be on the bus ride back to down to Lafayette last night.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you come here and you don't eat good, it's your fault. I just slammed Joe. I got him some boudin and some king cake. Joe, that's normal at our studio now. I'm surprised they don't have more food in it. I seen it where you couldn't even walk in here. There was so much food.
I got a little history here in the state of Louisiana. I've got some family that lives out in Metairie, and I had an appliance business. My aunt and uncle out in Shreveport a long time ago in the late 80s.
Do you remember the name of the business?
I don't, actually. I could text my aunt here during the break. Maybe
we got a Shreveport. It's a big market up there for us, and I was just kind of going to throw it out there. People would probably remember it.
Yeah, so they started in Shreveport. They expanded to Metairie, and then unfortunately after Katrina, they lost their house due to the levee breaking and Pontchartrain, and then moved up by me in the Carolina coast, and that's where they are now. But I've been down here. I told you during my show as Moon joined me. I do a morning talk show back on the Carolina coast. We've been broadcasting live from the team hotel each week and each day here this week. And Moon joined me for the last half hour of each of the broadcasts the last 2 days. And boy, he loves to stir the pot here in the state of Louisiana, don't he?
Me?
Yeah.
You know what my nickname was in college?
Moon.
Innocent Moon. They don't believe that was my nickname in college. You could have asked Reshaw on that last night. You didn't tell me that. You was going to tell me. What was his reaction when you told him you knew? He shook his head?
I asked him after the game, so he was happy about the win, obviously. So he said, man, I know Moon. Tell him I said what's up. So.
Yeah, that's right. That Keith goes back a long ways. But anyway, it's great to have you in town. Now, where are you really doing your broadcast out of?
Back home?
Yeah.
So we are out of Wilmington, North Carolina, which is about 90-minute ride north of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I've got it cornered there. I got the market cornered, Moon. We're pretty much up and down the entire Carolina coast through North and South Carolina, and we also like to stir the pot. We aren't left. We're definitely not left. We lean to the right, but you know those fools on the GOP, they know how to mess things up as well. So we like to call.
It's not the ones in the right that messed that up. It's the moderates that messed that up. They need one new party. The Demo moderates, and all of them go. The Republicans and the Democrats get in there. I promise you, they can screw stuff up. A politician can screw something up. I guarantee you give 2 politicians, one a Republican, one Democrat, 2 pieces of bread and a piece of ham. It's okay, make a ham sandwich. That thing will be butchered up. You won't even know what it looks like.
Only in government can you go in as a poor man and turn into a billionaire.
Oh no, a lot of them do that. Matter of fact, the ones we laugh at all of our congressmen in Louisiana. The only one I can't think of the one that I could think of that hadn't done it is John Cooksey. He was Congressman Cooksey in the 5th Congressional District, which is the Monroe area, Ellick in that area. He came back. He was a doctor before he came back. He ran for Senate. He got beat, and he came back home. Everyone, Vitter, Landrieu, the guy Bustani who was here, Rodney Alexander, who was the 5th Congressional District, every single one of them have gone to be lobbyists. They've moved to Washington or Virginia or wherever. Not every, now and then, every single one. Bob Livingston, John Breaux, Bennett Johnson. I can keep rallying the names off, but trust me, they're all in Washington making money.
Saw a report come out the other day that the 5 richest counties in the country are all surrounding Washington, D.C. I wonder why.
I think it was 8 out of 10, wasn't it, Brandon? It was a big number.
So you wonder where the power is, not with the people.
I know where I need to move to. I need to move closer to you. You closer to them than I am.
No, we are still far away from the swamp. I can tell you that.
Joe Catenacci, our special guest, and all right, Joe. And Brandon saw my eyes light up because it hit me. And this is my son over here. He's waiting to go do something. I got to bring him. But we were really intrigued. Coastal Carolina baseball team comes through and beats LSU at LSU, and we were shocked. Well, they get to the World Series, you think, okay, Cinderella, you're going to play, this team right here, the Raging Cajuns went, 17 years ago, Brandon?
Yeah, 2000.
They win the World Series, and you think, oh, mid-major again, it's nice, it's a nice run, it's a great story, and you're going to get your butt clocked before it's over. Y'all didn't get your butt clocked, y'all clocked everybody. Talk a little bit about the team. That had to be fun covering that. Yeah. Because you don't read Coastal Carolina for national championships in baseball, football, and basketball at all, just like you hadn't read Oscars.
That is, will go down no matter where my life goes. That will go down as probably the coolest experience I've ever been a part of. Gary Gilmore, our coach, man, he put in 25 years in this, and he recruits like the best of them. It was just a bunch of kids that all believed in one dream, obviously. And baseball, can go a number of different ways. A little bit different than some of the other sports where, you don't need to be 6'4", 230 pounds to play linebacker. You could be my size, a 5'9", $190, and striking people out. But to go to the box and to pick up a win over LSU, I mean, that is one of the greatest college baseball venues in the nation, no doubt. And to be able to go there and pick up a win over your Tigers, and then to go out to Omaha and take care of business. I mean, that is truly one of the coolest experiences
ever. But when you
went
out there, didn't you have the feel? I'm just asking, as a reporter, not as a player, didn't you just get the feel? We going. It's going to be fun. What a great opportunity! It's a blast. But bottom line is, we probably can't win it. I didn't say the players thought that. I'm asking, did you think that? We're going to get there. Boy, if we can win a game. This is what I hear. Oh, if we can just win a game or two.
As we got to Omaha, the town, the community really embraced us because of the fact that we had a unit there that wasn't expected to be there. We were underdogs. So as the town and the community embraced what we were doing and how we were doing it, how we were going about our business, what we were doing off the field in addition to on the field, as a reporter, I said, well, you know what? We win one, maybe we win two. We start to believe.
I know, but that's the mindset of most mid-majors. If we can just get in and get close. UCF played Auburn. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure they're saying, look, we can beat them. But the bottom line was they talked to the coach, said, what happens early in the game, if we can just hang around. I don't know if they really believe they can win. But as the game went on, they said, we fast as Auburn. You see what I'm saying? That just doesn't happen much. And what y'all did doesn't happen much. When is the last time I call you mid-major, ever won the World Series? Yeah. Or college football or whatever?
I can't recall that. No. And I can tell you that I have some nice hardware that I forgot at home that I could have brought in and let you see those nice, big, beautiful national championship diamonds on my finger. It makes my hand look a little small.
Were you calling the games back then?
No, I was on the sidelines of that. We have our athletic director, Matt Hogue, who
you were there.
Who formerly was the play-by-play broadcaster and then got into the administrative side of things. So he turned over the reins to a few other folks, and of course I got in a little too late. And then as we win a national championship, people go different places. It opened up a spot for me, and put in some time. As you know, in this business, you got to put in some time to make it up the ladder. And finally, here we are with Coastal, getting ready to knock off Lafayette tomorrow in men's basketball.
Look, I'm not a betting man.
Neither am I.
I'm not a betting man, but we can make a bet on that one. They're pretty good.
And that's what I hear. Undefeated right now in the Sun Belt. I think they waxed Appalachian State last night by something like 34 or something like that. I caught the Mountaineers there licking their wounds at the team hotel. They hadn't left Lafayette. I would have tried to get out of here as quick as possible after that performance last night.
The problem you don't know, Joe, is they stayed here and made dang sure they had fun and ate good. Yeah. Why would you leave Lafayette they want to go have a good time and eat good, so to you, the game probably we got beat. Hey, let's go to so-and-so's. All right, let's go. That's probably what happened.
That's one of the things that I need to find out tonight. I've got a little off night. As a broadcaster, I don't have to do any hydration or anything like that before the game tomorrow.
I'll tell you what you do. You drive and you get on Johnson Street. Yeah. Very easy to find. And go to the end of it and go south. And when you get to the end of it, you're going to be in a little town called Abbeville. And there's going to be I think there's a light there.
Yes.
And if you're right where you sit, just kind of look catacombs. There's a place called Shucks. If you want real Cajun, by the way, there's a lot of good places now. That's where I'd go tonight if I was.
All right, well, that's where I'm headed.
Now, will you eat a raw oyster?
I will. Oh, yeah.
Will you eat a char grilled oyster?
I will. Oh, yeah.
Okay. You need to go there and check this place out. And I tell you what, I bet you'll love the food.
Like I said, I have a little history here.
You're going to gain some weight.
Oh, that's
okay.
all right.
That's okay.
By
the way, I was at college when I played at ULM. We came into Lafayette, and I remember when I say we stayed around, because we stayed around after that game, and we spent the night. And I remember getting into the bed. We leave in 30 minutes.
Oh.
We got on a bus, and here we go toward Houston.
There have been a couple of road trips that we've gone on, especially here in Louisiana, where I've had to get that extra wake-up call to make sure that I'm on the bus on time.
I think, Joe, that's where I got the nickname Innocent Moon that night. All right, we're going to take a break. Joe Catenacci is joining us. He is the voice of Coastal Carolina. We need Jay Walker in here. They can have a battle back and forth.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Jay Walker, of course, the voice of the Cajuns.
Oh, is he over here?
Yeah. I don't know if Jay's here. I might stick my head out there. He may be here. I'll get y'all in here having some fun. And if we want to bet, we'll do it on the side. All right, I don't bet. Anyway, we'll take a break. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. We'll be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Open forum Friday, 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. Joe Catenacci. It's Catenacci. Is it spelled right? Catenacchi?
No, that's way off.
Okay.
Catenacci. Come on, don't you have some Italians down here in Louisiana?
No, but I didn't write this. The lady up front wrote this. I'm just reading what she said. I didn't write nothing.
Well, she asked me what that was, and I said, well, what do you think it is? I said, it's Italian.
There's no doubt about it.
Italian, the way you guys say it down here.
Italian, I like that. That's right. I like. Some people say Italian, but I'm not going to tell you who they are. Don't talk about people from Balkanville. Those are nice people. By the way, Donald Trump moved to vastly expand offshore drilling on the U.S. coast, and it was really applauded by our delegation because we like oil and gas. We like drilling. We're not scared of man-made global warming here, Joe. And if you notice, since you've been here, it's been kind of go. I talked to you yesterday. You told me you had 3.8 inches of snow on the East Coast.
Yeah, record snowfall in Wilmington, North Carolina the other day. We're iced over. It's a frozen tundra. We got a wind chill warning throughout this morning.
According to Al Gore said today bitter cold is exactly what we should expect from the climate crisis. And by the way, when he did his movie, did never mention that. And in 2009, I got to show you this, Joe. You get a kick out of this. And in 2009, let's see, he did not warn anybody of record cold. 2009 was hyping the lack of snow as evidence for man-made global warming.
Oh, makes
By the
sense.
way, it snowed in the Gulf of Mexico, way south of us. So I just kind of got a kick out of that because I say I get a kick out of it. You actually get mad at it, but you got to laugh at things.
We can't predict the weather, what it's going to be tomorrow, but we're going to predict the weather 45 years from now.
Well, see, you're jumping on my bandwagon. A meteorologist says rain tomorrow. Dang it, I was going to go fishing. You don't go fishing. It's cloudy all day. You kick yourself in the butt for watching the weatherman. And by the way, I'm not cutting the weatherman. He's only reading what his machine says. My son's right there. He'll tell you 2 years ago. He'll tell you we were playing baseball games. Okay, they canceled 2 baseball games because of rain. You ready, Joe? You a baseball player. You're gonna love this. They canceled 2 of them. Never dropped not 1/10 of an inch of rain. Walking my life, right? What happened was they looked at the meteorologists and this Doppler crap that they got now. All right? Now, back in our day, Joe, we played baseball. You showed up at the game, and when you ran under there, we all sat in the dugout, and if it rained too much, they told you to go home. They never told you not to come. Now, I know we got all this stuff now we can communicate, so we communicate. 2 games in 1 week were rained out with no rain because they said they had a storm coming. And what they did, the storm it went south. And we got rained out with no rain. Can you imagine that? You remember the day when you played? You got rained out when they came and said, hey, guys, we just can't play today. It's too wet.
What do they say? Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes it rains, or sometimes it doesn't rain, and everyone gets a trophy, so we go home happy.
Yeah, no, it's no doubt about it. That's T-ball. I tell you what, I tell Brandon don't have any kids yet. I said, Brandon, and I tell people all the time, some people dog me, but that's okay. I say the worst thing ever invented was T-ball. I said, nobody knows how to play. Maybe 1 or 2 kids can do a little bit. They started something new here, Joe. It was in Monroe. Wii ball. So instead of having 5 and 6 play baseball, we got 3 and 4s. And they run in the third, running in the outfield, and they pick in their nose, and they land down in the clover. We ball, and I got to believe this is 100% for the parents, and I guarantee you the only thing those kids ever cared about was who's bringing snack and what did they bring.
Yeah.
And then we all give them a trophy at the end of the year.
We give them a trophy, and again, man, these parents out there, they're crazy, some of these parents with their youth sports, spending how much money spending in the course of, go take a vacation. Go do something with your kids. Yeah, go do something you're going to enjoy and remember, not your kid running to third base on a ball hit to the right side.
Well, it's funny because, we've been involved in the travel ball and all that stuff, and now I look back, I still say the bad outweighed the good. I've been told now you're a baseball guy. I was told this by somebody last year that if your kid they didn't look at your kid by the time he was a freshman or sophomore, they're not going to look at him. This is the way we do it now. They keep up with you. And I always ask them, that's true. Okay, I said, how much did it cost you? Well, it's $2,100. How much did it cost you? Well, I paid $800. I said, and you mean to tell me if my kid or your kid gets on a mound and throws 90 or 92 miles an hour as a senior, they're going to say, well, we didn't look at him as a freshman, so guess what? We're not going to sign him. Joe, the baseball might be worse than any of it. It might be worse than any of it because parents are willing to put the money out there. Am I wrong?
Unbelievable, the amount of money. I have plenty of younger cousins that are right in the middle of this youth sports. Back in the day, you had American Legion baseball, you had recreation baseball.
Dixie Youth, all that stuff.
And you had affordable ways to play baseball. The competition was good. And now, like you said, it's all the money grab. And at the end of the day, whatever happened to that growth spurt you take from when you're 13, 14 years old to when you're 16 or 17 years old? You go from a kid, a little squeaky kid.
Oh, you thought, because you're a baseball guy. You're just the guy I need. All right, folks. Joe Katz, that's what we calling him. We'll be back with Joe. He is on a big talker in North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina. And Joe, I'll let you give out a website and all that stuff when we get back. All right, we're going to have some fun when we get back, folks. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Hi, y'all all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. Hickson has a hotline, 844-766-6607. Joe Katz is in with us. Joe, say your last name because this pronunciation wasn't even right.
Oh, man, yeah.
Catenacci.
Catenacci, there you go.
Dang, Brandon, that's 2 out of 4. 50%, dude.
That's a Hall of Famer.
Batting 500.
Hell, that'd give me 5 in the NFL if I do that about 3 years in a row. Anyway, Joe, appreciate you coming. Go back to baseball because it really is. You said you played. Where you play in college?
Yeah, I played Division II baseball up in the Northeast in New Jersey, where I'm originally from.
By the way, what's wrong with Division II?
Nothing. Paid for most of my college and went to an NCAA regional.
But you do have people that think playing Division II or going to JUCO is a bad way to go. By the way, that's ignorance. If you want to play, you extended your baseball years. You'd have never extended them had you not gone that way.
And I could have went to Division I, but I wanted to play. I didn't want to sit on the bench as a bench player for maybe 3-4 years. And, it's a lot of time you spend during your college years working on your craft. And come springtime, you're not going to play any games. I want to play. So I started my freshman year and played through my senior year, started every game in center field.
But you got 4 more years of doing something you enjoy doing. Yeah, you just gave a number on youth baseball. I'm just telling you what's being told and what's being sold. And I had a talk with the baseball coach the other day, and he said the same thing. We did this, big part of it. Travel ball was a big part of it. I'm telling you right now, guilty. Okay, but I look back now, and I look at that and go, when you had the Dixie Youth and everybody was in it. See, everybody wanted their kid to be on the All-Star team. Everybody can't make the All-Star team. Okay, you put them on a travel team with 10 kids. Everybody and Coach Robichaux of the Raging Cajuns right here he'll tell you straight out. He don't like none of that. He says that's not reality. You got 10 players on the team. You're batting 3-hole and playing shortstop, and you're batting 180, but you still bat 3-hole and playing shortstop because you only got 10 players. He said that's not life. That's not reality. Reality is if you play ball long enough, you're gonna sit on a bench sometime, sometime, no matter who you are.
One of the things I saw from the manager over at Lafayette, the baseball coach, that made a big rounds was the construction criticism. Kids don't know how to take criticism anymore. Constructive criticism, and he made national headlines for some of those news conferences. That was the same one
we played. Yeah, we had him on there, and he put that out there because he was getting on a kid, and he still goes back to travel ball. Always at the top, always one of the best. You come here, you're going to sit on the bench. If you're a pitcher, you sit most of the time. If you're a freshman and you start, fine. But if you're not producing, So Robichaux sent that. That's what I was telling you about him. He was. I remember the deal. That made a lot of headway.
Yeah, and I think, how about we make teach our kids a little bit about adversity and how to persevere through that adversity instead of just handing them everything that they have, and then when they get older, they expect these things, and that's just not how life works.
Well, that's what he meant by it not being reality.
Right.
Do you think that if a kid's not seen as a freshman and sophomore, maybe even as junior, he has no chance?
No. He has as good a chance as anybody else as long as he's willing or she's willing to put the time in to make themselves a little bit better.
And another thing, and Robichaux said this too, if a kid don't want to work at it, you can't make them. They got to go. They have to go work it. They got to want to do it. They got to be telling you, hey, I need to go do this and do that.
It's twofold. The parent or the kids need to be willing to put in the work and want to put in the work. And then on the other side, the parents got to understand that not all your kids are going to be Derek Jeter or Drew Brees. They're going to have to sometimes maybe playing Division II or going to the junior college route may be the best route for your kid. Not every kid is going to be a Division I athlete.
Remember Warren Moon?
Oh yeah.
Warren Moon went through the CFL, 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't even want him in the NFL.
Right.
And matter of fact, he became a Hall of Famer.
Well, look at Jake Delhomme. He went through NFL Europe and then ended up going to the Super Bowl, taking Carolina there.
But the reality of college sports is about 2% of the kids. That is the reality. I mean, we're just dealing with reality. So be the best you can be, play in high school, and if it takes you to the next level, it'll be because you had the talent, you worked at it.
And you got parents out there spending $2,000 a month for some of these elite sports teams. And for what? What are you going to get out of it at the end of the day? You're going to get a lot of road trips and a lot of credit card debt.
Yeah, but that we put this in their minds, and I'm involved in it, when they were 6. That you had to do this and you had to do that.
Well, and I think, too,
I had a brother, Walker's uncle. He started 4 years at in the cornerback and safety for Southeastern. Okay, mid-major, 4.5 40. But he was drafted by the Mets out of high school, and he played 2 years on the baseball team. Then he quit, and because there was no coaching. And if you go to Southeastern, look, you'll see his name leading in home runs 1 year, batting average 1 year. And I remember because I was talking to Walker. He said, "Would Uncle Kurt work hard?" I said, "No, I did all the hard work because I didn't have the talent." I said, "Kurt didn't work at nothing. He was one of those natural athletes. When he got out there, he wasn't going to let you beat him. Everybody don't have that. I didn't have that. I had to work harder, yet he became a lot better athlete just because he had it in him." And so sometimes that's just the fact, Jack.
Well, that's right. Sometimes God gives people natural talents, which is why we should always encourage our kids to go after things that they are naturally interested in and have passion. Sometimes it's sports, sometimes it's not, and that's okay too.
No, not at all. I told somebody if it was me, I'd be the backup punter. You wouldn't have to worry about it. You lift your weights, you work out, you punt, and you never get on the field.
I love some of your emailers and text messengers calling in on why I don't do certain things and what I do and what I don't do. Well, I'll tell you what, Coastal Carolina pays a little bit better than UNC Wilmington. That's why I'm at Coastal and not UNC Wilmington.
Well, somebody did that, but I'm not going to tell you some of the dirty comments I got from LSU fans. Especially when I started talking about when y'all beat them.
The one time I went to Death Valley was early 2000s, I think. The first and only time I ate gator, and the first and only time I saw an LSU football game inside Death Valley was when they played Tim Tebow and the Florida Gators, and the Gators defeated your Tigers. Yeah. The very next day, I took the ride down to New Orleans and saw a Saints game. I'll tell you, I stayed up for about 72 hours. My sister picked me up from the airport back in North Carolina, said, "Dude, you need a shower." And I said, "Boy, I do." After that weekend, that was one of the all-time greatest weekends ever in the history of my life.
Well, there's no doubt about it, Joe, and I appreciate you coming by. Okay, getting back into a little bit of politics. Did you ever cover? Now, maybe you weren't on air then, but you had to watch the bathroom legislation that happened in North Carolina. Y'all lost the All-Star game to New Orleans, and I always thought it was amazing. This is my side. Now, you may have a different take. That's why I'm throwing it at you, because you were there, and maybe I'm way off. They made a law basically saying if you're a man, go to the male's bathroom. If you're a woman, go to the female's bathroom. And they lost the All-Star game because of a law that made common sense. My God, that's the way you was born. And yet they made a big deal, and they lost the All-Star game for, there are people writing about this LGBT stuff, and they're writing a lot of stories about mental illness. I didn't write it. I don't know. But they're writing a lot of stories. But yet you lost the All-Star game. And the law was Now, am I wrong? Was it more than what I just said?
No, it was so confusing, this law, that the folks that put it on the books didn't even know how to explain it. And once again, there's the the inability to get out in the public and change the narrative. It was the media, the left hijacked this bill to make it way more than it was, and then of course the liberal-leaning NCAA, the NBA, all decided they were going to pull all these games. And guess what? They rescinded sort of the law this year, and guess where the NBA All-Star Game is going to be held in a couple of years? In Charlotte. This year. In Charlotte. So it was just a mess in order to try to trash the Republican Party in the state of North Carolina. And in typical GOP fashion, they were unable to deny some of the things and the narrative that was pushed there. And it was just a complete mess.
But how hard is it to explain? If you're a male, go in a male's bathroom, and a women, this is all. And look, I could write this right now on this one line. Male, people born male go into the men's bathroom. Next line. People born, not like a man, you go in a woman's bathroom. End the conversation, Joe. How hard is that?
It makes pretty much sense to me.
If I see you go in a woman's bathroom and my wife or kids in that, Joe, I'm going in a woman's bathroom too, but it's not going in for the same reason you are. Think about it. You lost the All-Star game for this craziness.
It is unbelievable that these are the types of conversations we're having here in 2018.
Well, I used to laugh at this, said this would never happen, but it did happen. Right when they changed the definition of marriage, which is a whole other story, they started in with the LGBT stuff. They went, okay, we got that, let's go to the next one. And they went to the next one, and I thought, wow, how hard is this?
It's
This is not that hard, guys.
LGBTQX double NOP.
MOUSE. Well, but it really became down to something got political for the All-Star game, and it never should have got there. But once again, NBA, you saw what happened with the NFL this year. I'll get to that in a minute. And the NCAA, and all of a sudden they run to the left side without even thinking.
And we lost the governorship because of that. Those on the Republican Party, we had a Republican governor, Pat McCrory, and he was unable to get out back under the rock after he was put under it because of this bill and because of the outflash that he was getting because of it. He could have been the governor for 85 years in North Carolina if he wanted to. All he had to do
was step and said, all I know is this, if you're born a male, go in a male's bathroom, and if you're going to beat me because of this, because that's what I believe, beat me. But I'm enough pride to go, just dang it, beat me, because I'm not going to back up on this one.
That's how soft the Republicans are.
That's why I left the party. They got more yellow stripes down their back than anything I've ever seen. All right, we're going to take a break. You're listening to Moon Griffon Show. Of course, Joe, I'm not going to say his name, Catenacci.
There you go.
Okay, Joe Catenacci, and of course, big talker, Wilmington,
North Carolina.
Carolina, folks. What time are you on?
We're on 7 to 9 a.m. right before you.
You got a website?
Yeah, WilmingtonBigTalker.com.
My name's not on the list yet to be on
Not
the show.
yet. I mean,
no tape delay programs at least.
We may have to delay it with you.
We'll be right back. Welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. Joe Catenacci has been our special guest this hour, and he's working in North Carolina. Joe, give out the website again.
Yeah, we're at WilmingtonBigTalker.com. WilmingtonBigTalker.com, and you can listen to me on the East Coast 7 to 9.
7 to 9 our time.
So it's 6 to 8 your time.
6 to 8 our time, 7 to 9 your time.
Yes, sir.
And you said one of your other partners or something was on after you?
Yeah, one of my buddies, Chad Adams, he's on from 9 to 11, or so it's 8 to 10 here Central Time.
Okay.
Yeah, he's out of Raleigh.
I know y'all had to cover this as well. You being a sports guy, because you're like me, I'm still a big sports guy. The National Protest League.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, once again, you're up there where you have professional football team. We have the Saints. What did people in North Carolina feel like about all that? Because, it's no doubt ratings were down. If some stadiums didn't, they were lucky to have a half a deal packed in there. And it became, once again, they took something that was a lot of fun, so pure, the greatest team sport probably known to mankind is football, because there's just so many variations. You got to have, so many things that go with a football team. But they turned it in once again to politics.
I think there's so many different ways to be able to speak your mind in these days. Fortunately for you and I, we have an opportunity every day to speak our opinion into a microphone and out to a number of people across our listening areas. But most employees would not be able to go out in their job and
on the job site,
on the job,
somebody else
earning a paycheck, somebody else signs your check, that they would not be able to go out there and speak their mind and get away with it. I've actually been let go of a number of jobs for posting things on Facebook or saying.
I lost a station one time for saying too much of the right things. That's what blew my mind. And I got a simple motto: when I want your opinion, I'll give it to you.
I mean, literally. So, fortunately, you and I are maybe a little bit different because we actually, we are allowed to give our opinions, and technically, you're your own boss. I have a few people above me in my situation, but they encourage me to have an opinion, which is a little bit different than if you're going to any other normal type of 9-to-5 job. And I think at the end of the day, that's part of it. The
but
media.
Don't you feel like the fans? Ultimately, the person paying the paycheck will make that decision. Even for me, same thing with you. Ultimately, it's going to be made a decision. Now, the decision was made by the players that this was more important than the fans, than the business that we're in. And they went on and did it. And toward the end of the year, you didn't hear nothing about it anymore. And I believe it's because they looked in the stands and they looked at the ratings. And they're going, holy cow, we have a problem.
Yeah, we're starting to lose some money.
But the NFL never really fixed it. The employers never fixed the problem they probably could have fixed early.
Yeah, and I think it just goes to this media cycle that we have. Well, 24 hours, 72 hours, we'll forget about it in a week and we'll move on to the next thing. And that's, right now, as you saw through the NFL, most of those empty stadiums, you didn't go over to the Superdome this year because the Saints are doing pretty well. Obviously, going to get beat by the Carolina Panthers this weekend. But with that said,
I'm not questioning him on that because I don't know.
But that said, the Saints were the Aints back in the day, and kneeling on the sidelines. How many people are going to be in the Superdome watching that game? Saints are doing well this year. Stadium's going to be packed. Out in Carolina, we've got a packed stadium. If they were, 3-12, probably not so much. So I think it depends, big time on whether your team is winning or losing. And then you're figuring out, hey, it's Sunday. We can do other things with our lives. We don't got to be sitting by the tube and sitting in a bar, spending half my paycheck at a bar drinking beers and watching football all day for some guys kneeling.
Time does have a way of healing wounds too. I mean, there are some Saints fans, diehard Saints fans, that when this was happening, and I can tell you as someone who's a Saints fan since I was 5 years old, I was hurt when they did what they did on that weekend where they really wanted to protest, especially after the comments that President Trump made. And I can tell you, I was hurt by it. But there's a lot of people that were on social media saying, I will never watch a Saints game again. And they did so for a few weeks, and now they're on Facebook saying, "Hey, I can't wait to see
Sunday
them."
in the playoffs, they're going to be watching.
Yeah, but time kind of has a way of healing wounds, and it hasn't done that for everybody. And there are some people, and hey, I respect their right; they don't want to watch the games anymore. I completely get it. Some people, it's kind of like maybe a family member doing them wrong, and then they're just kind of forgiving them later on. Not everybody feels that way, though.
Joe, when does Kaepernick sign with somebody?
When Puff Daddy buys the team.
Yeah. You have heard about that,
You heard about that, Moon, have you?
I heard that he was looking at it.
Yeah, because the Panthers, their owner, longtime owner that brought football back to the Carolinas, Jerry Richardson, in this turmoil with these sexual allegation things, and he stepped away. He's going to sell part of his shares, and he owns the majority of the shares. So I think some of the other owners that own equity in the team, they're going to probably pick up the slack there. But all of a sudden, P. Diddy wants to buy the Panthers, and the first order of business would be to hire Colin Kaepernick.
Second order of business is season tickets will go to hell in a handbasket.
Never mind that he has Cam Newton, who's already a successful black quarterback.
And the third order of business is they're going to lose their fannies off for a long time to come. And when they go to other places, they're going to be the most booed team around. I mean, let's just face the facts. The guy did that to himself. Plus, he can't play.
Right.
They said Tim Tebow couldn't play. We Tebow guys, okay? And I'd have loved to see him stay in the NFL because I can name 18 to 20 quarterbacks not better than him. Now, that don't mean he's not the prototypical NFL quarterback, but at least he won. At least he was a positive influence. It was a positive influence on children, for the league. I think a lot of them got jealous because there were people that were better than him not getting any publicity. That was the year Drew Brees set the darn record. We're all talking about Tebow, but let me tell you something. What's Cowherd? Cowherd made a comment one time, and I knew this was happening. They asked him, why do y'all talk about Tebow so much? Because I thought Tebow was a story that year, but they made it, they hated him so much they made him a story. And he said that came down through ESPN that they had to put Tebow in every newscast and everything because it sold. It was about money. It was about ratings. If you liked him like we did, we wanted to watch. But then I got turned off because everything you watched was negative on it. And so I just thought that was so odd that a guy that was a good guy, I don't know of any children he's got out of wedlock. I don't know of any tattoos and earrings that he wears, okay? But did that make him a bad guy because he didn't have all that stuff? And they ran him out the league, basically. I don't care what anybody said. They ran that guy out and plus he was a big Christian. Well, I'm a big Christian. I like that. But some people don't like that.
Yeah, only in America where we have mutual respect for each other, we have core values and beliefs, will we throw that guy under the bus. Only in America.
And by the way, this is another guy. Second guy said Wilmington is my hometown. Why you don't do play-by-play?
Well, go call the administrators over at UNC Wilmington and tell them I need a pay raise.
This is two different people, I think. Yeah, well, it's two different emails. See, that's amazing. You come on a damn program on a pay raise. Everybody gets him a pay raise all the time. That's all they do. You come on a program and now you want a pay raise. Do I look like money?
Well, you are broadcast all across the state of Louisiana.
Yeah. Well, but do I look like money? I am wearing blue. I'm not wearing green. Joe, we appreciate it, man. It's been a lot of fun. And don't bet all your money on Coastal Carolina tonight. I'm just telling you, I want you to get home safe.